The Wake Forest Fire Department Fireground Endurance Assessment is a measurement of physical firefighting skills centered around 8 separate areas or events. A candidate's successful completion of these events within set technique and time parameters is required to move forward in the hiring process. This video will educate candidates about the proper method for completing each event, as well as potential pitfalls which could result in failure. It is important to note that even one mistake on one event may cause failure which, in all cases, will lead to automatic removal from the entire assessment process. Therefore, pay close attention to what things may constitute a miss, warning, or fail for each event so that you may learn how to collectively avoid them and still finish all 8 challenges in less than 10 minutes and 30 seconds. The importance of intense physical preparation and a thorough understanding of the assessment cannot be overstated. We thank you for your investment in your physical readiness, as well as your keen attention to detail, and we look forward to your success. The sequence of events in the Fireground Endurance Assessment follow a predetermined path. The validated maximum total time to complete all 8 events successfully is 10 minutes and 30 seconds. The first event, Stair Climb, is designed to simulate the critical task of climbing stairs in full protective clothing while carrying a hose bundle and other equipment. Candidates must complete a total of 180 steps using an 8-inch step box while wearing a 50-pound weight vest plus a 12.5-pound weight on each shoulder. The assessment begins when the candidate takes their first step. A complete step consists of stepping atop the box with both feet, with toes of each foot passing the yellow border into the black box, and then stepping off the box with both feet. If requested, a 30-second warm-up is permitted, but there will be no break between the warm-up and the assessment. A miss occurs if the candidate fails to step over the yellow painted border or fails to step up and down completely with both feet. In either case, a miss will be called and the step will not be counted. Event failure will be called if the candidate falls or dismounts the box. During the assessment, the participant is permitted to touch the wall for balance only momentarily one time. A second touch of the wall during the assessment constitutes a failure. Doing either of these results in event failure and the end of the assessment. The second event, Hose Drag, is designed to simulate the critical task of dragging an uncharged hose line from a fire apparatus to a structure and pulling it around obstacles while remaining stationary. A nozzle is attached to 200 feet of 1 3/4-inch hose with a red painted section marking the grasp zone. The candidate places the hose over the shoulder or across the chest. With both hands remaining in the red section, the candidate walks or runs while dragging the hose 75 feet toward a pre-positioned drum. The candidate makes a 90-degree turn around the drum and continues an additional 25 feet to stop at the marked box. At the box, the candidate drops to at least one knee and pulls the hose line until the 50-foot mark crosses the finish line. Event failure will be called if the candidate grasps the hose outside of the red painted area prior to the kneeling phase. Event failure will also be called if the candidate does not go around the drum or goes outside the marked path to include coming in contact with the fence or wall. A warning will be called if at least one knee is not kept in contact with the ground, or if the knees go outside the boundary line of the marked box. A second warning constitutes event failure. Any of these event failures will result in the end of the assessment. Please note well, the hose drag event and the rescue event are the only events during which running of any kind is permitted. The third event, Equipment Carry, is designed to simulate the critical task of removing power tools from a fire apparatus, carrying them to the emergency scene, and returning them to the fire apparatus. 2 35-pound weights placed on the table are used in this event to replicate saws stored in a storage cabinet on a fire truck. The candidate must remove the weights from the table, one at a time, and place them on the ground. The candidate then picks up both weights, one in each hand, and carries them while walking 35 feet around a drum and then back to the starting point. Placing the weights on the ground to adjust grip is permitted. However, running at any time is not permitted. Upon return to the starting point, the weights are placed on the ground together in front of the table and then picked up one at a time and replaced on the table. The candidate must remain in control of the weights at all times. Event failure will be called if either weight is dropped on the ground. Additionally, a warning will be given for running during the carry. A second warning constitutes event failure. Either of these event failures will result in the end of the assessment. The fourth event, ladder raise and extension, is designed to simulate the placement of a ground ladder at a fire structure and extending it to the roof or window. This event utilizes a 24-foot aluminum extension ladder, which starts out laying flat on the ground. The candidate must walk to the top rung of the ladder, lift the tip end from the ground, and walk it up hand over hand, touching every rung until it is stationary against the wall. The candidate then steps to the fly extension prop and extends the ladder by pulling the halyard rope hand over hand until the ladder is fully extended and the fly is locked. The candidate must remain in control of the ladder at all times. Event failure will be called if the ladder is allowed to fall to the ground, if control is not maintained in a hand-over-hand manner, or if the rope halyard slips in an uncontrolled manner. Additionally, a warning will be given if a rung is missed during the raise. A second rung warning constitutes event failure. Either of these event failures will result in the end of the assessment. The fifth event, ventilation, is designed to simulate the critical tasks of ventilation and forcible entry. This event utilizes a weighted sled device and a 10-pound sledgehammer. The candidate must use the sledgehammer to strike a 160-pound steel beam a horizontal distance of 3 feet. Raking, pulling, pushing, or dragging the sled is not allowed. You will only receive one warning. A second infraction will result in immediate failure. Event failure will be called if the candidate does not maintain control of the sledgehammer by releasing it from both hands. Additionally, intentional raking, pulling, pushing, or dragging the sled after one warning will constitute event failure. Either of these event failures will result in the end of the assessment. The sixth event, search, is designed to simulate the critical task of searching for a fire victim with limited visibility in an unpredictable area. This event utilizes an enclosed search tunnel. The candidate must crawl through the full length of the tunnel, which is approximately 24 inches in diameter, 40 feet in length, and has one 90-degree turn. Event failure will be called if the candidate chooses to end the event by calling out or rapping sharply on the wall or ceiling of the tunnel. Event failure will result in the end of the assessment. The seventh event, rescue, is designed to simulate the critical task of removing a victim or injured firefighter from a fire scene. This event utilizes a weighted mannequin device equipped with webbing. The candidate grasps a 165-pound mannequin by the webbing using one or both handles. The candidate then drags the mannequin 35 feet, makes a 180-degree turn around a fixed point, and then continues another 35 feet to the finish line. The entire device must be dragged across the finish line. Drop and release of the device to adjust grip is permitted. The device may touch the beam, but the candidate grasping or resting on the beam is not permitted. A warning will be called if the candidate grasps or rests on the beam. A second grasp or rest warning constitutes event failure, which will result in the end of the assessment. The final event is ceiling breach and pull. It is designed to simulate the critical task of breaching and pulling down a ceiling to check for fire extension. This event utilizes a mechanized device that measures overhead push and pull forces, and a pike pole, which is a 6-foot-long pole with a hook and point on one end. After removing the pike pole from the bracket, the candidate places the tip of the pole on a 60-pound hinged door in the ceiling and pushes it 3 times while standing within an established boundary. Then the pike pole is hooked to an 80-pound ceiling device and pulled down 5 times. Each set consists of 3 pushes and 5 pulls. A total of 4 sets are completed in succession. Both of the candidate's feet must maintain contact with the ground and stay within the base and rails of the prop at all times. Pauses for grip adjustment are allowed. Releasing one's grip or allowing the pike pole handle to slip is also allowed, and the candidate may reestablish grip and resume the event at any time. This breach and pull event and the total endurance assessment time ends when the final pull stroke repetition of the fourth set is completed and the proctor calls time. A miss will be called if a repetition is not successfully completed and the apparatus must be pushed and pulled again to complete the repetition. A warning is given if the pike pole is dropped to the ground or if feet do not stay in contact with the floor inside the base of the prop. At least one foot must stay in contact with the floor inside the base of the prop at all times. Additionally, a warning will be given if any part of the body touches the ground outside of the frame rail or touches the wall. A second warning for any of these violations constitutes event failure and will result in the end of the assessment. Here are additional details which may help candidates succeed with the endurance assessment. To ensure the highest level of safety and to prevent exhaustion, no running between events is permitted. This includes skip walking or any type of movement that is not heel-to-toe walking. A 60 to 80 foot walk exists between events, and this allows approximately 20 seconds to recover and regroup before the next event. A warning will be given for any type of running. A second running warning will constitute assessment failure. Candidates will wear a 50-pound weighted vest for all events, which simulates the weight of a self-contained breathing apparatus and protective clothing. The stair climb includes an additional 25 pounds by adding one 12.5-pound weight to each shoulder. Candidates must wear long pants, a hard hat with chin strap, work gloves, and closed-toe and closed-heel footwear for all events. Watches and any loose or restrictive jewelry are not permitted. To ensure scoring accuracy, 2 stopwatches are used to time the assessment, with the second serving as a backup. If the validated maximum total time elapses before all events are completed, the assessment is ended and the candidate is notified of assessment failure. Prior to taking the assessment, each candidate must present valid identification and present a doctor's note stating the candidate is physically able to perform the assessment or provide a waiver release form. Failure to do so results in assessment failure. All tools and equipment used were chosen to provide the highest level of consistency and validity in measuring a candidate's abilities. But most importantly, your safety in this assessment is our highest priority. Thank you for the time and care you will invest in preparing yourself for these important evaluations of your readiness to assume the role of firefighter in the town of Wake Forest. Our department looks forward to your success in rising to the challenges of the Fireground Endurance Assessment.